Injuries have forced the Rams to make two desperate moves. There are glimmers of hope for the Dodger pitching staff. And 5 years after getting caught in a strip club during the COVID bubble, Lou Williams still insists it wasn't about the nudity. Good morning. I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is June 14th, 2025. I am back in Portland for work. P-Town. I'm pretty sure you can guess why I'm calling it P-Town. But so be it. Do you like being in the know about LA sports? Well, if you do, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Now, before we go through the news notes, quick look at the scoreboard. Scum Francisco 6, Dodgers 2. Let's move on. Scum Francisco is also going to play the Dodgers today at 7. It is also Galaxy Game Day. They are at St. Louis at 1:30. And the Sparks are at Minnesota at 10 a.m. So with that out of the way, what do you say we get to the news? You know, originally the Scribes couldn't make heads or tails over the Rams signing free agent offensive tackle DJ Humphries. Turns out the move is going to make an impact. It has to. There's no other choice. Alaric Jackson has blood clots again. The Rams signed Jackson, by the way, over the offseason to a 3-year, $57 million deal. And there is the possibility that that first year is going to go up in flames, just like Heath Ledger did to that pile of money in The Dark Knight. So that's suboptimal. Without Jackson's medical report, I can only tell you the basics. If it's minor blood clots, those could resolve in a few weeks. But if it's deep in the vein, you may have heard of a deep vein thrombosis, for example. Now you're talking months. Now, Jackson had clots back in 2022. That did not take just a couple of weeks. He missed 9 games. Now, as for Humphries, yeah, it's true. He did reach a Pro Bowl. But by the time he was finished over in Arizona, he was rated the 44th offensive tackle in the game. So that may be how you're protecting Matthew Stafford this season. But granted, it still looks a lot better than having the guy you would prefer to play left tackle collapse and die on the field. Decisions. Former starting cornerback Derion Kendrick was waived Friday, the result of him missing the entire 2024 season with a torn anterior cruciate ligament. It's bad news for him, obviously. But the current starting corners for the Rams are now 32. Darius Williams and Ahkello Witherspoon. So the LA Times, once again, they speculated on a trade for former Rams defensive back Jalen Ramsey. Speculated. Did they have an actual update? Hell no, they had no tangible update. So thanks for nothing, guys. Well worth my subscription. I could have predicted them being a little more interested in Jalen Ramsey now. Do I get my money back? Do I get to join the Times news staff with such cutting-edge sports analysis? Maybe they'd like the best quarterback they've ever had. Great job. But here's the thing. What I can tell you is cutting Kendrick will not equal a path to Jalen Ramsey, because cutting Kendrick saves them about $3.4 million in cap space, which brings the total cap space for the Rams up to about $22 million. Ramsey is almost pulling in 25. So there's a distance to go, people. Do you have an odd social media feed? Are you hanging out and somebody just mentioned something like, oh, gee, I really like macaroni and cheese. And you look on your cell phone and there's like 19 different ads on your social media accounts for macaroni and cheese? Well, my social media feed kept telling me that former Rams backup quarterback Bryce Perkins won the UFL MVP award. The UFL MVP. That means about as much as winning a Yoko Ono sing-along contest. You know what the problem, if you ever watched the UFL, the problem is crystal clear. It's the quarterbacking. They don't have any. Do yourself a favor if you're really into your football. Google the USFL back in the 1980s. They had quarterbacks. They had Steve Young. They had Brian Sipe. They had Doug Williams, who came back to the NFL, won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. Jim Kelly played in the USFL. Now you're going to sit there and trying to tell me that the one-time third-string quarterback of the Rams is a weapon? NFL teams keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster, and none of those quarterbacks are going to quit so that they can go to the UFL, right? So if you do the math, that would mean that the UFL MVP would be the 97th ranked quarterback in the NFL. So, congratulations. Good year. If you're a Rams fan, let me know what you think, of course, in the comments. There is a surge of optimism. At least that's what the Dodgers are trying to tell us on the injured pitcher front. Feel the joy, at least until Mark Pryor gets his hands on him. Starting pitchers Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell had decent pitching sessions on Friday. Glasnow threw a 2-inning simulated game. He'll throw another one next week. Snell, meanwhile, was just relegated to the bullpen. He threw 25 pitches. There is no set date for him to do that again. Meanwhile, though, reliever Blake Trinan, he could return after the All-Star break next month. Dave Roberts said Trinan needs a few more bullpen sessions before he gets a plane ticket for a rehab stint in the Midwest manure pit. If you are looking, though, for somebody to potentially cut to the front of the line and get back to LA, consider Emmett Sheehan. You remember him? Had Tommy John surgery about a year and a half ago. He pitched 3 1/3 innings in AAA this week, which doesn't sound like too much, but Roberts said that there's going to be a discussion this weekend about whether Sheehan gets another start there or if he flies back to civilization. Former Clippers sharpshooter Lou Williams, after 5 long years, is sticking with his original lie. Gotta love the consistency. Definitely knows how to create a shot. Definitely knows how to stick to his story. And that story is that he left the COVID bubble in Orlando for a funeral, and looky here, I just happened to get hungry just outside of the nation's most infamous strip club. Just a man in need of 2 plates of hot wings and 2 table dances. Williams said, quote, "I want to put this to bed. I didn't sneak out of the bubble to go to Magic City. That's not what happened. They excused me from the bubble to go to a funeral. Doctor is traveling with me. The funeral home was a block away from Magic City. I've been staying in a hotel, eating hotel room service food. Magic got good food," unquote. Oh, really? First of all, who the hell put a strip club next to the funeral parlor? What kind of a kink? I mean, I'm not here to judge, right? I'm not here to kink shame. But if your thing after going to watch your grandma get buried is to take her last will and testament money and go straight to the strip club, you need some therapy, bruh. But let's put that aside. Magic got good food. There is a 5-part documentary on how scandalous Magic City is. And by the way, that documentary, not broadcast on the Food Network, my dude. I don't know if I've ever seen an unmarried man outside of the priesthood spend so much energy denying that he likes making it rain over naked women. Lou Williams, sticking to his guns. I'm not sure how much stock we should put into Elliot Friedman, who is Canada's go-to guy for hockey news. He is saying that New Kings general manager Ken Holland prefers big defensemen. And the Kings have two younger guys who do not fit that mold in Jordan Spence and Brandt Clark. Now, Clark was a high draft pick with upside on the power play. So guess who becomes the odd man out in that scenario? Especially if the Kings are trying to create a little bit more cap room, both to retain free agent defenseman Vladislav Gavrikov and maybe add an impact forward from outside the organization. But again, should we believe this? Because Friedman gave no sources. I'm an old school journo. Eventually you have to say, look, people told me this, right? Instead of pulling stuff out of your rear. Believe me, the state of journalism today is all about the speculating. I read an article yesterday. Oh, it was talking about how the Lakers knew what they wanted in a center, and it was by a alleged trusted news source, CBSSports.com. And the bastard scribe just listed 22 names. Like the Lakers are really going to go after all 22. Stop it. Stop it. Everybody who follows college football knows damn well USC has been killing it in recruiting for 2026. But FoxSports.com wants you to know that the Trojans have an impact freshman right now in defensive lineman Jakeem Stewart. And you, if you're a Trojans fan, should like Stewart because, to his credit, he didn't abandon ship on USC like damn near everybody else on the East Coast did. Guy's from New Orleans. He's 6'5", 290. And what I know about Danton Lynn's defensive structure, his system, it's not that complex. So a freshman could theoretically pick it up pretty quickly. The Trojans need somebody who can grasp it quickly and apply pressure up front because they only had one player tally more than 16 quarterback pressures last year. Now, USC's defense actually did improve by a leap and a bound. We can't deny that. But they were still tied for 92nd in the nation in sacks last year. So, light a candle. Get some hope. Jakeem Stewart might be that guy. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Are you concerned about the Rams losing both an offensive tackle and a cornerback, and training camp hasn't even started? For that matter, are you buying into the idea that the Dodgers are finally getting healthy? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Keon Cortel Queso production. Take care.